Right. My AI just changed. It just buzzed the front gate. Thank God you came. How many more days could I wait? I made plans with you, and I won't let them fall through. I think I lie for you.
Good morning. 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 We back to a day after with the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Now, I decided to do this now. Y'all know I usually wait like a day or two. And I decided to spread this now because, child, it's a lot that was pissing me off. And we're going to get into it first. I want to say this, and I'm going to say this again, and I want to say this again. I knew they were going to use a storyline, the new girls, because they got something to prove. And remember, Portia was gone for 2 seasons. So nobody was going to use that storyline that she supposedly stole Fallon's husband in quotation. I'm going to make this clear to y'all and make y'all understand. We had already been talking about how Fallon and Simon was already going through a divorce because Fallon was pregnant. He didn't lie about that with the guy that she's married to now, child. I'm going to say it again. She was pregnant with the guy she's married to now, child. He went on a rampage and said that she groomed him and F all this mess. Fallon was trying to get back on the show because she thought Portia would be back on the show and bring up her relationship with Simon. So no, she didn't steal nobody's husband. They was already going through litigations of divorce and clearing a divorce during the engagement. Before the engagement, he was only with Portia for 30 to 60 days. He even said it and Portia said it. That he said no, he did not step out on Fallon. If he did, it was Fallon even came out in interviews and said there was a white woman before Portia. He had cheated on Fallon with, and that's why she cheated. It was never Portia. I'm gonna say it again. It was never Portia. It was a whole different woman. There is interviews on it and everything. Fallon was only mad at Portia because she got the ring and she wanted to be back on the show. She wanted to work with Dennis to hurt her. But then when it came out the truth, the situation with the man she's married to now, that's what happened. So I knew that the ladies were going to use that. And I'm going to tell you now, the new ladies are kind of going to try and douse Phaedra with the Candy situation, okay? So just get ready for that, just like, Dr. Heavenly and them did. So these girls are gunning for their spot. Think about it. Cynthia, Portia are the longest running and women on the show. Okay, and Phaedra now. Kenya was also. So you got to understand, they're going to be gunning for that spot. They want that spot and that longevity, and that's what they're gunning for. So let's get into the recap. I want people to understand that. We got a lot to this dissect here, okay? So Drew decides to pop herself up to try to save the friendship. For what? I don't know. Now, a lot of people, I kept telling people, let this play out with this Drew and Portia and Dennis situation. Everybody thought it was fake. No. We're gonna get into that. It's not fake, but I told y'all let it play out. So she pop up trying to fix it or whatever. And while she comes to the house, she goes in to speak to everybody. Kelly looking good in her gowns, her multiple gowns. Nice gowns, okay? She looking nice. I don't know, Kelly girl, I don't know where you were going with that on. I don't know if you woke up and decided to do rich bitch shit this morning. But it was nice. It was nice. I don't know where she planned on going. I don't know if she had fun and she got too drunk and just threw something on. I don't know. But hey, vacation is vacation. So Cynthia sees her, give her a hug, whatnot. And she was like, she glad that she's there and they glad to talk. And she say, what we doing? What's the plan? So they're supposed to be going to a whiskey tasting, and they're deciding to go to the whiskey tasting. She's telling, she don't know what group. Cynthia was like, I don't know what group I'll be with who. Portia didn't tell me anything yet. So, Portia knew she was there, but she was just walking around. She didn't say nothing. I'm gonna get into the tea of what Drew said and what happened and Portia thing. I'm gonna show y'all after we do this whole recap, okay? Because I got some tea, honey. It's a little juicy. So that situation happened, and she goes upstairs and she see Angela. She hears Angela in her room. She knocks on the door. She said, hey, talk to her and everything. Angela's getting her makeup did, honey. Getting all up for the glam for the girls to go out. Okay, I'm glad that this time they knew it was hot. They made sure her hair was gelled down like it's supposed to be. Of course. So, Angela's getting ready to go out with the girls. And she's talking to Drew, and they're having a conversation about everything. She asked her, did you talk to Portia? And Drew looking like, no, like, why? What's wrong? Like, what's going on? And so, she was like, you might need to talk to Portia, but before you do that, you might want to go see your room. And she was like, my room? And she was like, yeah, you might want to go see your room. And she was like, well, what do you mean by my room? You know how she do, right? So she was like, go see the room. She said, Angela, what you mean? So she see the room, and the room is the bunk bed. And she was like, wow, thanks, Angela. She was like, this is like a room for an orphan. So, Portia had done ate. They got dressed. They got on the bus. So Cynthia's asking Portia, Drew is on there with her hat. She's being whatever. Everything is cool. So at this point, I don't see no issues. I don't, Portia hasn't been mean or anything. And I'm going to show you a picture where we knew Portia was not being mean. I don't know why people say she being a mean girl, but she was not being mean. So she's sitting there talking to Cynthia, and Cynthia was like, what did you eat? She said, I had my pulled pork. My voice is gone, but I had my pulled pork like that. And she said, did you find the did you find the barbecue sauce? And she said, no, I didn't. But so everything was cool on the van, right? Everything is swell, everything is fine. So as they're sitting there, all of a sudden, Shamia starts breaking down after everybody's on their phone, checking their phones and stuff. Shamia starts breaking down with the, crying and everything. So as she crying, she starts telling everyone about the, that she was married before her marriage to Gerald, and it was an abusive relationship. And then they flash back to where Kenya had her domestic violence PCA event, and she was basically saying how she was embarrassed, how he jacked her up. Baby, he threw her over out of her Louis Vuittons, her first pair of Louis Vuittons that night, honey, in front of everybody on their 1-year anniversary. And as she's crying and telling the story, Portia is sitting next to who? Drew, comforting Shamia. I'm going to say it again. Portia is sitting next to Drew, comforting Shamia. So, she's telling everyone, and then as she's telling that, Cynthia was like, oh my God, I've never seen you cry before. And a lot of people was like, oh, why would you say that? That's so disheartening. Cynthia has never seen her cry. Y'all got to understand, Shamia was a friend of the show. So Cynthia's been around her, but she's all like Cynthia say, she's always been jolly and, not in laughing and joyful and things like that. So, she was sitting there talking about it. And she said she feel vindicated because the lady that she knew didn't want to talk to her because of the fact was that basically she is not that I wouldn't say she didn't believe Shamia, but she was just like, I ain't effing with Shamia, you know what I'm saying, type situation. And then the lady texted her and basically said, was basically saying, oh my God, basically basically we're gonna just say it like this, like, oh my God, like I understand now. And Shamia was saying how he's a famous person, he's an entertainer. They don't look at him any different. Now I don't know why she gave us all this tea, because y'all know now the bloggers finna start digging this shit up. It's finna get dug up. So I'm gonna tell you about it in this week. We're gonna know who Shamia ex-husband is. and she was saying how, you know, basically how, excuse me, y'all. She was saying like, sitting down saying, hey, this is what happened, and he was entertainment. They didn't look at him like that. So when it happened, I felt embarrassed because people was looking at me, and everybody that was sitting on that. She said they went to a known hotel, and everybody that was there at the patio saw it, and she felt so embarrassed. And that's what she knew she had to leave. So then as she's sitting there talking, she, shut her eyes. She was like, and on top of that, of hearing that, it's a lot going on with Shiloh. Y'all know, baby Shiloh is sick, y'all. And we send our prayers, listen, baby Shiloh don't even know she's sick, like that lady said, but she is a blessing of the Lord. Amen. And we know God got a calling over baby Shiloh life, amen. So Shiloh is a pure joy. She is gonna be healthy. She gonna be all right. And Shamia is a good mother. So she wiped her face in tears, and everything. She said she okay now. I think she felt good when her best friend came and sat by her and just comfort her. You know what I'm saying? Even though she felt vindicated, she felt good to have Portia just comfort her, and it was okay. So then she asked Cynthia how her mom doing, and they started talking about the domestic violence PSA. I think that was a way for Shamia and Cynthia and the girls to talk about Kenya's situation when she had the PSA, just like a remembrance of the things that Kenya has done for the show. Now we have seen Andy say he doesn't have a problem with Kenya, and Kenya feel like they do, but they don't have a problem with Kenya. And I feel like Kenya may be back next season, y'all. Depends on NBC how they feel. But I do feel like they are, we could take it as they playing, they're being petty. It's showing a great moment that about DV, or they Kenya might be coming back. I don't know. We'll see, y'all. So, we showed, look at baby Cynthia. She was so cute, though, she. Look at her. So, Cynthia was talking about Cynthia's mom and how she did the PSA event as well. And Cynthia saying, her mother is one of the strongest women she knew, because when she talked about her life, she understand how strong her mother is and the sacrifices that her mother made for her and her sister, and to look where they are now. And she say that's one of the strongest women I know. That was just so sweet to me, how she just loved on her mom. And her mom's been through a lot. So as they go to pair off in groups at the little whiskey place, Angela sit down and talked to Drew, and she's like, I feel like I'm at fault. Oh yeah, Drew tried to throw Angela on the bus before we get to that. So they're in the room, and Angela says she feel like it's her fault. I'm glad you here to take the heat off me. Drew goes, oh, if you got that heat, then that's on you. And I'm like, and then they asked Angela, would she invite Drew again? And she was like, yeah, I would. Girl, please, I wouldn't. Hell, you heifer, I'm getting all this heat for you. And you don't pop your tail up in here this time of day after you don't hung out with Dennis drinking champagne. Can you say me something? Okay. So then after that, all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Like, girl, you took the heat. You talking about taking out the heat, Drew? You don't put the extra heat on this lady, because we finna get into that. So, as they sitting here, whatever, she's talking out at the whiskey place, and she's talking to Drew, and she says she feel bad because she feels like, um, basically saying, hey, I feel like it's my fault. I don't like you guys being at odds. And she feels some type of way. She doesn't feel great about it. And then Britt chimed in and said, well, she was saying how she didn't like the heat. Angela didn't like the heat on her. And Britt was like, well, like, what do you mean? Because you like to play oblivious and play victim when she not lying. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't have to like Brit, and I know y'all still stuck, which I'm so sick of, because we're moving right along from the Kenya situation. Y'all are still stuck on 4 or 5 seasons. Baby, they're moving without y'all. We're moving without y'all to see how this play out. I'm going to say it again. We as a collective that's been watching and seeing how it's playing out are moving without y'all. Y'all still stuck. Kenya more fans. I need Team Twirl. Get your butt out, king your head about being gone. Y'all still stuck on it. Listen and see how everything play out. So Britt was sitting here saying how she's oblivious, and then Angela was like, "How?" Which I agree she is. Now this I gotta give it to Cynthia, baby, because Cynthia told it, and I agree. So she's sitting there having a conversation about what happened at the brunch. And Drew was like, well, you walked in, Drew piggyback. And I don't even remember Drew being at the brunch because I don't think Drew was there when Britt walked in like that. I don't think Drew was there. She wasn't there. So how the hell she gonna tell this girl how she walked in because Angela called and told her. That's just what it is. So she was going in on how it was and how Angela played victim. Angela does. Now let me tell you something. I love Angela. She can read you to she can read a book to a 5-year-old, baby. She can read. But I'm not finna sit here and say I don't have my thing. Just like I say Britt Edie was wrong. Just like I say y'all giving Drew, victim guilt and all of that. And I feel that way. And I feel like Drew half of the time ain't been there with all this stuff been going on. Majority of the time when conflict, I'm just saying. So they sitting here having a conversation or whatever. And, they were saying how she walked in. So Britt was like, how you going to tell me how to walk in when y'all see what that girl did to me? And it was like, well, and Drew looking like, what do you mean? Like, like everybody looking confused. So Cynthia chimed in. She said, y'all can't tell this woman how to feel walking in because none of y'all had a picture shown where y'all had a ping in y'all mouth on the poster board. She say until that happened to you, y'all can tell her. So that's when everybody started feeling sorry. And then Drew was like, we miss our friend. Drew, I'm going to say this. You and King ain't started coming friends till last season. Baby, she was reading you like she was reading a toddler a good story time at 8 p.m. and at 7:30 and ready for the child to be asleep at 8. Okay? Y'all friendship wasn't that great. Okay? So after that, everybody, gave their hugs and said they were sorry. And then people were saying, oh, Britt bullied. Britt didn't bully. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all Team Twirl, y'all can't sit here and say, oh, well, Britt is bullying. Let me tell you something. Until your pictures is online, if people see you walking down the street and act like you a prostitute or a streetwalker, y'all can't say nothing. Y'all, until that man that you love so much, until he backstab you and put your pictures and videos out on the internet, you can't say how she should feel. You can't. You can't. Yeah, you can't say how a person should react. Yeah, you can't say how a person feel. Because I'm finna be honest with you. If it was any other female, they would have told Bravo F that contract and drug. Kenya would have got a second drug on the second time after 10 years. We gonna keep it a buck. We gonna keep it a buck. When Portia dragged her, she called the police on Portia and got her arrested. That girl made a threat. We gonna keep it real. Kenya could have got that girl locked up for a threat. She didn't. So Kenya wanted to embarrass her. Okay? Kenya got dragged for that Portia mud shot. And she thought she hurt her and she didn't. Okay? Let's keep it real. So then after that situation, they go back home. When they sit down, they talk, they give hugs. Everybody's, giving the understanding and everything else, right? So then they go back to the house. Everybody sitting down having dinner. Portia looking at her side eye. I told y'all it was more to the story. Wait till how this Portia and Dennis storyline play out. We're going to get into Portia and Dennis. We're going to get into what Drew had to say. Wait till the storyline play out. And y'all will see why Portia acted the way she acted. First of all, we gonna get into it what Cynthia said, and shout out to Cynthia for seeing both sides. Shout out to Cynthia for being Team OG. Because everybody talking about Nene should have been there. Let me tell you something. If Nene was there, Nene, even though her and Portia don't get along right now and they got their issues, she would have took Portia's side because she'll say that's boundaries. You don't do no mess like that. And there's plenty of producers in Atlanta. And that's exactly what Nene would have said. Like, let's keep it above. Nene would have been like, baby, you wrong for that. Like, first of all, yeah, Portia might not be with him, but what if she would have said that and did something with your man? You'll be uproaring, crying, and having a fit and want to throw shots at everybody. Shout out to the OGs sticking together. I can't call Drew an OG. She only been there for 3-4 seasons. Anyway, so, they all sitting at the table. Kelly went to go see what's up with her fish. She told them she wanted fish. Everybody got chicken and fish. Everybody having them. Oh, them drinks look good. Everybody having good drinks. Everybody look good, honey. They sitting down talking. She saying she came with a peace offering. She said, I know I wasn't invited on this trip. I came with some whiskey for you for your birthday. It's a peace offering, this and that. So as they're sitting and they were asking, do you have a problem with, excuse me, me being, no, I think Drew said you got a problem with me being here. Portia said, you straight. She's like, you know what, since I gotta have answer, I'm gonna go. So everybody's like, no. Drew is a manipulator. Even though she said you straight, I would have said, well, bitch, I still love you, and there ain't nothing you knew about it. You still my girl. Even if she didn't want to put it at the table, the issue, you should have stayed, and then you could have went to the pool, and y'all probably would have been okay. You know how she is, right? Like, let's be for real. So they sitting here, whatever. She's saying that, she's going to go. She's going to jump back on her flight. Drew didn't want to be there anyway. So I don't even know why production and Angela did all that. So, Angela was like, girl, just sit down and eat your chicken. Like, be quiet. Like, girl, just sit down and eat your chicken. Girl, whatever, like that. Because Angela was like, girl, y'all going to be all right. Whatever. So Shamia was like, no, just sit down. Everybody was like, sit down. So she was like, anybody got a problem? Let me know now. So Kelly, and she got mad. I think she got slick mad at Kelly. Kelly was like, where is my fish? Like, what y'all got to go on the lake to get my damn fish? Kelly was hungry. She's like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to leave. People were leaving the next day anyway, so I don't even know. So Portia was like, you came on an hour flight to Nashville to come to a woman's birthday party on her birthday. And everybody was like, oh, she amiga. First of all, let me tell y'all something. And I'm finna say this because y'all do this a lot and I don't like it. Hey, April. Y'all sit here and y'all complain about Heifers not splitting the bill for your birthday. But y'all telling me y'all just saw a girl that got jumped too. She didn't invite friends to her birthday party. Y'all sitting here because y'all don't like Portia to say it's okay for Drew to come at her birthday party? I'm not understanding. Who, April? Who trash? But my thing is, y'all, like, I'm just saying, everybody's sitting here and when it comes to their birthday, they have rules. Everybody want to split a check or feel like somebody should take care of their birthday dinner when they order the appetizer, the entree, drinks that nobody ordered. Why when it come to Portia saying she didn't want her there right now for her birthday for a reason, that she is wrong? Portia isn't trash. I'm explaining to you about Portia. I don't know if you caught the beginning of April, but y'all want Portia to spill her tea. Simon had already stopped her tea. Remember, I told y'all last summer that Simon didn't want her to film in the house. Simon did not want to be on the show with her at all. He didn't want nothing to do with Bravo. He has a problem with Bravo. I told y'all that. You got to go watch my videos. I'm going to give you a link, April. You got to watch the videos, girl, because it's a lot of tea why Portia ain't sharing everything. And if we gonna call Portia trash, we gotta call Drew trash too, because they both acting the same way through their divorces. We gotta be honest. Good morning, Shell. So Portia was like, you came to a woman's birthday party. She felt like basically saying she made an effort. But what pissed Portia off was you decided to turn around and go home when she's saying it's okay. Everybody was like, what was the purpose of you spending that money on an hour flight? I said the same thing. So Portia just sitting here, whatever. And she walks up and, Drew is going to her room, want to cry. They both wanted to cry. I'm finna be honest with y'all. If we want to talk about people stealing people, let's keep it above. Last season, Drew didn't want to talk about Ty. Remember? We gonna keep it honest. But her and Mean Lee can coexist, right? Ty is now with Mean. Mimi went off on Drew and Ty, allegedly. Remember? But you was upset about that because you had the boundary that you didn't want nobody to talk about it. Now y'all want to initiate the fact about Portia's situation of her marriage and start off right when y'all know the truth. It's crazy to me. And I'm gonna say, like Portia say, if we gonna get into it. What they did at the porch. I don't think she was being a mean girl. It's more to the. Let me tell you, I really truly believe because we're gonna see next episode why she did. Okay, Drew wanted an issue with Portia to fight it out, but like Portia said, my issue isn't with Drew. I don't have no obligations with Drew. We can be cool, we can be cordial, we can fix it. That's what she was saying. Her issue was with Dennis. Now Dennis sent her a text, but we don't get. I can't get into that because it's next season. What he said, I as a woman, I wouldn't fucking work with Dennis. And we gonna get into that next Monday. I'm gonna tell y'all now, I wouldn't work with Dennis after what he told Portia. I wouldn't dare. But I believe Dennis and Portia has good chemistry. They're like oil and water. They're good and then it's bad. We're going to get into that too. And then we're going to get into what Drew had to say and why I feel like something had to happen or almost come close to happening. Y'all going to have to hold on. Hold on, April. Don't leave. Girl, your boots going to be shaking after this. Hold on. Okay. So, she was talking about Angela. Angela just shaking her head. She was like, this one over here. Like, Angela did keep, a lot of people did say Angela did keep bringing up Drew. And then she was saying that Drew was being dramatic, which she was saying, I never told her she could leave. I told her she could stay. I really think she wanted Drew to stay so they could patch up whatever, have a drunk night with the rest of the girls, and just have fun. So Kelly go in, everybody go in or whatever. Kelly was like, dang, I've been waiting on my fish forever. Like, what, you had to go to the lake to kill it and catch it? Like, I could have did that my darn self. Where my darn fish at? Which I agree, shit, you be hungry, you want your food. So then Portia go in her room, she's sitting down. I think while they were filming, okay, so remember, y'all, everybody was talking about how Portia had got the documents from Simon lawyer and his lawyer about trying to film in the house before filming was over. And remember, the judge granted Portia not to film in the home. Remember that? Okay. So, hold on. Because somebody said something crazy. You just said what I just said, baby. Oh, hold on, y'all. You just want to argue about Fallon. We don't care about Fallon. Fallon moved on. We don't give a damn. Good for her. Okay, so remember, everybody was talking about how she was still trying. They were filming and she was trying to get the film in the home, but she was filming at her mama's house. All right, we finna get into this conversation. So, Cynthia come in, take her shoes off, talk to Portia, answer what's wrong. While they're doing that, Shamia is trying to figure out what's really going on and talk to Angela. And she goes, oh, I'm being assaulted and called. Ain't nobody assaulted her, called her names. Okay, stop, Drew. But I get it. They both going through divorces. They both getting, let me tell you something. It's like the fight of divorced women because Drew is not getting what she wants. She wanted her record sealed. She wanted things to be her way in the divorce, and it's not happening, right? The same with Portia. Portia wanted to film in a home and all of those things. It just didn't work out. And they're both upset and taking out on each other because you got to understand, they're both going through a divorce that is really, really nasty. When I say really nasty, really nasty. Like their men are on their ass. And I'm proud of Portia saying, at least I got both my baby dad on both these men in my life on my ass. She not lying. Drew got Raph on her butt, on her heels. And then you got Portia who has Simon on her butt, and then Dennis upset, still wanting to be with Portia. We're gonna get into that. Just hold y'all horses because it's coming. We almost finished. So y'all gotta understand, these two women that are divorced are really going at it because they can't go at it at the men. So, she's sitting out on the bed and she was like, you got a lot going on. She like, what's going on? They both was talking. And, Cynthia said something I agree with. She say, if it was, she say, what I don't understand is, she say, Portia was like, my thing, is it like, is it about Dennis? She say, my problem with her is boundaries. Basically saying, I repeat, if Portia did a podcast with Raph in the basement, right? Hey, Miss Sexy Ray. If Portia did a podcast in the basement with Raph, Drew would be upset. We're gonna be Drew would never let that go and did not tell her. Drew would be mad. Drew would talk junk. Drew say she don't care, but Drew would talk, oh, when you're filming with Raph, oh, well, maybe you can talk about, like, she'll throw hints. She'll do the same shit that Portia doing. Okay? She would do the same thing. Let's not act like she wouldn't. She would. And the way she be laughing like she don't give a fuck. Just like the situation with Britt when she was sitting there smirking, she didn't give a fuck. Let's just keep it real what it is, So Cynthia was saying that, yeah, she said if it was you doing a podcast with Raph or doing anything with Raph or any type of thing, she said Drew would feel the same way. She said, you're right. So as they sitting down talking, Drew was, I'm sorry, Cynthia was like, listen, no, she said, "Ooh, the lash is coming out." She said, so Portia said, "We're having a breakdown moment." Now, if y'all didn't take the hint, I think that was with Andy. You know how Andy do. It's a breakdown moment, And, she basically, Cynthia said, I've known you for a while. I've heard a lot of things. Can't nobody break you. And I know you. They've known each other since, 12 years? They've been on the show together for 12 years. These women have fought, kicked each other, called each other names, and they've been fine after that. And Portia said she was glad that she came on the trip because to her, Cynthia feels like home for OG. And I said, I love it. I love it. That's what we wanted to see, the OGs. And I feel like now it's getting ready to be OG versus New Girls. It's about to be that. It just is. And get ready for it because the New Girls are trying to be on their butt. This their first season. They got something to prove. They're doing a great job now. I give them that. But baby, don't think because you win in this first season, your next season is going to skate on by because they finna eat y'all alive. Okay? So Portia was saying how she has a lot going on. All the men in her life are in her butt. This and that. It's so much going on. She didn't want to break down with the stuff about divorce because she had got a message. She was telling Cynthia that was something that was very disappointing. So that is when we got the understanding. I believe when they were filming last year, we got the understanding that she couldn't film in a home. And remember, we got 5 weeks, season almost over. And I think it was, hey, you can't film in a home. You got to do this and that for the divorce proceedings. That is the disappointing news. Okay. All right. So then we go into the next day, and Angela say, Portia was inebriated and all of her truth fell out. So she basically said that it was 2 or 3 in the morning in her rooms, not that far from the pool. She said that, let me see if I got a picture. No, I don't. She said that it was Shamia, Kelly, This they second night in the pool because baby, the night before they had money in the pool. It's Shamia, Kelly, Portia, and Bree outside having a good time. So remember I told y'all Kelly was gonna give me a ooh girl, you should have never said nothing type moment, right? Remember I said, ooh, she give me a ooh girl, you should have never said that or this and that. Remember I told y'all that 2 weeks ago. All right. So I knew production was gonna have this storyline pop with the sleeping with men situation. Remind you before we get into it, Portia was gone for 2 seasons, 2 years. So just imagine coming back and you couldn't get that heat and you avoided that heat and they were going to give you that heat anyway after the 2 years, right? Remind you, Phaedra come back in 5 weeks. So don't think they're not gonna throw the heat with Candy and Phaedra and Portia situation and Apollo and Shireen situation. That's why it was brought up because that's what they're gonna get ready to do. Because ratings are plummet, they gotta do whatever the fuck they can just in case something don't work. We gonna keep it above, okay? So as they're at the pool, Angela say she's on the phone with her husband and she hears say Portia say, you better leave. She better leave me alone for I F her husband. And she say, we know this to be true. Angela called herself recording it, and there is no audio. Like it's nothing. You don't hear anything. You don't hear. When I say you don't hear anything, you don't hear anything. So now the fans are like, oh, we're gonna rush to it. They decided to use that against her because they couldn't use it against her 2 years ago. Everybody knew the story, right? We all know the story with Fallon. Fallon was going around saying it. Come to find out, Fallon is now married to her groomer, the person that claimed she groomed and had a baby with. She got pregnant while in the marriage with Simon. Okay, remember that. All right. So the marriage was already done for. It was just separated. Okay. So as that going along, because if that's the case, y'all need to not give Simon off the hook, old granddaddy Yella, and say, hey, he took Dennis' baby mama because they were together, remember? Oh, they were working it out. Oh, okay. Okay. So she goes down there and she questions Portia about it. And she say, you came out here and you heard me say Charles' name? And she say, yeah. So Portia say she up there looking like the girl in the window recording us. That's not the first time she recorded them because remember when Britt and Kelly woke up, they was like Angela was recording them at the pool, throwing money and dancing. She was already doing the recording. Angela did. I know that's y'all favorite. That's mine too. But Angela was recording and talking shit from the window. She sure was. She didn't go down there and party with them. She was recording and talking jump from the window. This is the second time. So she was like, she recorded for her. She said, I didn't say anything. That's what Portia said. She said, I didn't say anything. So Portia was like, she said, I ain't doing this on camera and walked off. I think Portia said this is the second time y'all don't said it because Kelly did ask, oh, why you took that lady husband? So she feels like, and I feel that way too, and I'm gonna tell you why. Kelly gave me my ooh girl. Kelly was drunk. She say Portia did say it. But Kelly, I didn't hear nobody say that, but you, Kelly, you already was waiting for somebody to bring that up to me because you wanted an answer and you didn't get it. So I believe Kelly and Angela had already had a conversation. But she only said that Portia did say it. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get into it. So Angela was like, and Brittany was like, saying that they were going back and forth. Shamia was saying some things she heard. And, everybody was just joking and talking and all of this. Now, as they get ready to leave, Angela is upset. Kelly little self, little cute petite self, She's so little with all that hair. She came down and was like, I say good morning every morning. What you mean? This is why she said Portia said it. Because when she said good morning, hold on. She said, when she said good morning, um, Angela was like, I don't want to say nothing. So she basically called all of them Portia puppets and we left it there. We're gonna see what happened. I knew this was coming. I'm gonna tell you why. We had already been in the talks that Portia was avoiding being on the show with the other ladies because she didn't want to hear you took that lady husband. Now, with all the blogs and things, we knew that they were going to come and do it. And then Drew was doing it in her own antagonizing way to try to say, well, you took that lady husband, trying to be funny. We're not going to act like she not. And I love me some Drew, but that's what she doing. Drew just don't give a damn this season. If Portia's being a mean girl, Drew is being a mean girl. Drew had already picked her friend and who she going to side with. Drew just wanted to make it look like, oh, well, I'm her friend, but I'm really not type crap until she crossed me and boom, bam. So they're both being mean girls to me. Okay? They both are. Now, I want to show y'all a video of Portia and Dennis. And the chemistry is great. We all have seen it. But I'm going to say this also. Drew knew that Dennis was in her contract to film with Portia. I think Portia got upset because her and Dennis will not be able to film like that. And I think that he's already, you know how Cynthia had her ex-husband when she was on the show. Nene had Greg. They all was in the contract. Candy had Todd, Phaedra, Apollo, then whoever she was dating. Kim had Corey. They all was in a contract. I believe that Drew added Dennis as an extra person in the contract. He's already in Portia's contract. And there had to be some contract things going on. That's why Raph has a green screen, a confession, just like Todd had a confessional. Everybody had one. Every husband has. Okay? So let's be clear. It went against whatever the agreement was that Portia had said, and Drew had whatever agreement with him. Let's just be mindful. Okay? Now, I gotta hurry to watch Queen Blob, y'all. Ooh, the tea, honey. Okay. So Portia did a video, and I want y'all to see this. And I want y'all to pay attention. I truly believe that I don't know why her did. I think she only wrote reason why she broke up with Dennis because let's be clear. She only broke up with Dennis because he cheated. Okay? We are gonna act like she didn't. Okay? So I want y'all to see this. I'm not gonna play it all. Y'all can watch it on her channel.
It's still there. I'm supposed to be looking at it. I thought it was just the one to like for him to do his own to follow. Yeah, let me see. You ain't supposed to leave it there. Right. I swear I'm not wiping the beard. I'm trying to like shorty low. See, I fixed it. Okay, yeah, I'm good now. How you looking? Okay, so we have an issue. So I want to wear this today, but we got Crackola, Coochie Crack. I feel like this is gonna work.
Now, Portia, why would you gonna change and put that on to make him see what he forgetting? I really believe her and Dennis had some entertaining going on. I really believe they were talking about being back together and starting to fix things. And Drew decided to say, no, bitch, I'm finna have some fun with you. No shade, allegedly.
Yep, I kind of feel it. Is it coming through the fabric? Is it making a stain?
No, it's not.
Oh, I was about to say. Oh, they said y'all be asking about what I be wearing. So this is Cavalli. Yeah. It still feels wet though. Oh. Huh, that's nice.
That's nice.
It's giving committed.
All right, hold on, y'all.
I always tell you, just have them call me. Like, I'm a great referral. I can
Really?
give a great, yes. I would give a great referral to them. Like, what do you mean? Of course.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I could get you married. For real. I could get you settled down and married.
Okay.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I want some more kids too.
You do? How many more?
It's many more I can afford.
Really?
The way PJ going, there's probably only one more, but
Because you see how much.
we're going with Hebrew National, right? Only beef, 100% kosher beef.
I was hoping you got these.
Yeah. Tell them.
We're called geriatric parents. So we have to be very healthy so that we live long, we're in shape for when PJ gets older, because we're going to be much older when
Hold
she's,
on, y'all. I'm fast forward. I'm trying
in
to
her
see what he's saying. Shaped
Right?
like jam and jelly.
But we ain't going to start it today, because today I'm going to be having cakes and hot dogs.
Hold on. Let me see if I can go to her shorts. Here we go. Here we go.
I mean, you know about DMs. You be DMing people. You don't be DMing people?
No.
Dennis.
No.
All the girls on the show said you DM them. Each one.
Did y'all see that leopard tattoo Portia got on? It must be jelly, because jam don't shake like that. You got to get the lines in there, man. You got to get the flavor busting out of
That's the chemistry. This is what Drew had to say. Hold on. So they did the after show. And he also cleared up buying Brit Edie. He was like, yeah, he said, but I'll never do that again because y'all can go watch it on Portia for real. He said, yeah, I'll never do that again because females, they'll take that and whatever. And then she asked him, is he dating anyone, and said no. He said, if you talk, she said there's plenty of people in my DMs, so he know who be in her DMs. Then he said it was something else that was said, and yeah. I was trying to think. I had on the tip of my mind, but okay. I think this is the one. And I'm gonna fast forward it for y'all. And then we're gonna get so they did the after show. What the hell? Hold on, y'all. They did the after show, and the way Drew mentioned this lets me know something happened. And it was to get back at it was to get back at I think Dennis did what he did to get back at Portia, and Drew felt like it was fun to do. She just felt like it was fun to do. We're just gonna keep it honest. He got back at Portia while working with Drew and not saying, but you know what I'm saying? Like how she married to Dennis, Simon.
No, we don't have a sign.
And I really truly believe that he still loves Portia and Portia still loves him, and they need to work it out because they have a great chemistry. They have fun together. I mean, it was a good. Oh, she asked him also, did he cook for other girls? He say, no, I only cook for you. He say, after you, I'll never do it again. I say, damn.
Fine, you're the biggest coffee lover.
Come on now.
Coming back, going through a divorce, trying to hold together. I was just like, don't add on.
Why would a person react this way? A person would react this way if you want to spin the block. And that's what it's giving. And if you want to spin the block, then just say that, Portia. Coming up.
Why does it matter to you if she want to spin a block back with Dennis, Drew? You see how she was saying it? Like, oh, that's T. No, Drew, what the fuck you and Dennis did allegedly? What happened, girl? Because it had to be more than just music. What happened? You helping Dennis to get Portia back? That's what that is. That's what it seemed like. So, yeah. So, we're going to play this a little, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here.
Up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta after show.
What's wrong? Something is wrong. You're not yourself. Tired.
Portia didn't even get dressed for her dinner.
Oh, Portia was definitely hotter than fish grease.
Can I have a plus one?
Are you her friend or are you just trying to create moments?
Exactly.
Like, this is such an intimate setting.
This is not
Then it's
dinner
like
up the street.
No, it's not dinner up the street.
Girl, why are you leaving?
Because I don't have to deal with this, actually.
She throws a lot of curveballs. She's always there to stir the pot and create fires. But then when it's time to come.
She's talking about Angela. And a lot of people are feeling that way because a lot of people like, girl, what's up with this Wachovia bait scam? You might as well tell the truth on that. Now, she done told us the tea and the truth about the baby situation. She said her daughter's father, may he rest in peace, had a child on her. And she wouldn't regret it. That's why she was telling her Wendy that. And it wasn't about Charles, and people took it the wrong way. And now everybody's saying, okay, so you giving out their tea. Now, Angela, what's your tea allegedly with this scamming issues with the great grandma something with Wachovia? I didn't even notice till Lipstick Alley came out. I want to know what Angela, you gonna have to clear that up too, Auntie. Yes, Auntie.
Confront her situation. She always runs. She's a runner. The Real Housewives of Atlanta after show starts right now.
I'ma just be 100. I would not be inviting anybody to anybody's birthday, even if they were like good friends with that person. It's not my place. You got invited. It didn't say bring a plus one.
I'm missing my Chicago partner on this Zoom.
She asked me on the Zoom because she was trying to be so upfront, like, are you inviting Drew?
Right.
And I said, well, to be honest, I want people who really care about me, people who I'm close with, people who I'm cool with.
And no messy energy.
I actually felt like we were having a good time, and I felt like Portia was in a good space, and she was receptive. I didn't immediately get cut off at the notion of bringing Drew. It was like, okay. It was and giggles.
Can I have a plus one?
For some reason, Angela, your call is the only one silent.
There you go. Angela was being messy. She said it was ish and giggles. She was being messy.
It was unnecessary of Angela to even want to add her little 2 cents to invite her.
Yeah. Why are you positioning yourself in between me
I agree.
and Drew? And then you putting me in an awkward position that I took to, because when she said, okay, well, I invited Drew.
Yeah.
At first I'm like, okay, why'd you do that? You're doing too much. And then I finally said, you know what? It's fine. If Drew comes, I want her just to be comfortable. I'm not going to make her feel away. It is what it is.
I felt so unwelcomed. Like, the whole time I was just like, why am I here?
Yeah.
I didn't think that what Portia and I even had going on was like that deep. But the energy I kept getting from her every time I saw her, I was like, oh, you're that like upset and we can't talk about it?
So I felt like the issue was minimal. I didn't feel like it was a big issue. And I felt like you guys could have spoke about it and just moved on. Like,
Me
this is your
too.
friend's birthday.
Yes.
We're going to Nashville. It's about to be a time.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I could fix this. Here I go thinking I can fix I think that's the handyman skills from these properties. I'm like, you know what? Just a nail and some glue. I
Right.
can
That's
fix
what I'm
this.
saying. I'm gonna hammer this thing
together.
back together.
Angela kept making it a point that, well, you have beef with her. Aren't you going to be mean to her? Aren't you going to pile your friends up on her? Yeah, stirring it.
I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for us to lay our issues on the table.
No, this is not a perfect opportunity. It's her birthday. I did not tell any of these girls about Drew and I situation. Mind you, Ami, also Manetta, All these girls are also cool with Drew. The first time they heard that Dennis and her or me or I felt that they were filming or whatever was that very moment.
What I won't do is allow a group of women to just talk about one woman who's not here to defend herself.
They asked, where was she? Because they've known us to be cool.
Okay.
Wait, what? I have no idea what's going on. What happened?
So as you can see, I wasn't trying to
But
be
see,
messy.
I was like, you gotta watch Angela because
Right.
she come off like she's very sweet and innocent, but
All right, you guys can watch that. It's Bravo. I don't want to play too much because I don't want them to get me. Because last time they got my ass, it's Bravo. But yeah, go watch that. And Kelly has said it too. You gotta watch out for Angela. Angela might look sweet, but baby, Angela come through, and y'all gonna be like, let me tell y'all something. Y'all giving it to Angela right now. It's her first season, and I'm giving it to her too, and I love her. But I'm finna be honest, y'all ain't gonna like Angela next season. Y'all gonna get sick of it, or before this season is out, y'all gonna get sick of it. Y'all are. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I will see you guys tomorrow with the regular tea as we always do. Thank you guys for watching. Later.
Hey, Roman numeral 7 days, drop it like it's hot. If this world was mine, I'd take it, things and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God.